System error. Alignment unknown.
As you sit drinking in the pub. I know I told you you're all going to die in this episode, but come on.
I think this is I was going.
This is our spa day.
So we have one final enjoyable evening.
While these two are slowly becoming more and more incoherent,
Yeah, I'm going to drink mine.
Yeah, you drink yours. Make another constitution check.
18.
18. Room starts to spin a bit faster, but there's not much more effect. It's a bit like being on. Have you ever been on one of those carnival rides where it's essentially you're on a spinning bug that then spins in the opposite direction? It's like that when you reach that peak where you're just reaching the momentum of both opposite turns, and it feels like it's going slower than it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's almost like when you're spotting in dance. You're like putting off as much as the spin as possible. Anyway. Yes.
I would like to give Rusty Vinny.
Okay.
Tell him he's in charge, and then I'd like to take my drink off up to the bar and have a chat with the barman.
Okay.
I kind of pull Vinny back.
Okay. Rusty just kind of has
jealousy.
a place for a hello little guy, and then just immediately disappears. Like, hi little guy.
Shall we die as flow of magic?
As you two start having weird conversations, and Rusty just very slowly sits in his drink. Also, for some reason, not affected by this drink. You go to the bar, up to the barman.
So how's it been today? Has it been busy?
Quiet. You won't be having much people in for about another half an hour. The farmers are just kicking off now, I imagine. But yeah, it'll pick up in here in about half an hour. Lovely.
That sounds nice.
We get the occasional. I mean, you got the Zomif in the corner over there, but she's
Who? Sorry.
Zomif. She is staying here, but mainly in that corner, not in an actual room.
Okay. Where is she from? She seemed to know me. It was a bit odd.
I don't know where she's from. She's one of those. Well, she used to be. This is the problem. She used to be one of those caravan guards. She travels with whatever caravan needs her, or used to, as I say. She recently got. Apparently, from the last time she was speaking any sense, she was fired for starting a fight with some Mirabara group that was coming down about 2 weeks ago. She came in.
All right. So. Okay. Do you know when she's likely to be sober?
Well, if you wait till tomorrow morning when we're going to empty the wastewater, that normally wakes her up. Mainly because we empty the wastewater over her. It cleans the corner at the same time. When I say wastewater, I don't mean like actual waste. I just mean like drip trays over.
I understand. So yeah, she's not been the cleanest since I've been in here. So
yeah,
we cleaned that up for you. I hope you don't mind.
Oh, that's fine. That's what little Owlbear cubs are for, right?
Yeah. Oh God. Just thinking. I have a moment thinking about his breath. I'm not cuddling him for a while. Okay, so right. Do you know anything about this Mirabar convoy at all?
Depends who you talk to, because there's a couple people in town that seem to be telling. Tell you what, I'm not going to do their job for them. They seem to enjoy telling the stories themselves.
Perfect.
If you have a chat with Zomif when she's awake, she'll probably tell you what I've just told you. Mm-hmm. She got in a fight with some Mirabar caravan on the way to. I can't remember where they were going. She was coming from Westbridge, and they from Belliard, and she was going that way, and they were coming from Westbridge to Belliard. But other than that, she hasn't said much. Other than that, I mean, say if you're talking to her in the morning, in fairness. But if you want to talk to her, she may say it in a different accent.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, did you say there's somebody else who knew about this as well?
There's a couple of people in town that have been talking about weird going-ons. I mean, let me cast my mind back over the people of this town. There was an acolyte who seemed to appear in the other the Ponce shop. If you go over there, there's an acolyte staying there by the name of Brother Aiden. He seems to be telling some sort of stories over there.
Mm-hmm.
There is, there was this bloke who came through a couple of weeks ago who had a chat with the carriage boys, but you won't see them till morning. Although they work all through the day, they also appreciate a good hard man's sleep. There is, other than that, I don't remember anyone saying much about a caravan. I mean, if you go to Galka's, you might hear some stuff. Galka's is the barber up the way. It's where all the old boys kind of hang out. You know, like that old school barbers kind of don't really cut hair. They sit playing chess and talking about the wars. Other than that.
Oh, good idea. Thank you. That's been really, really helpful.
I mean, if you can find anyone else, no one else is out. I mean, there was what's her name? Edge of Town, funny half-elf girl. She runs the Sundries shop. Tweak and Sundries. She runs the Sundries shop. I love that I can just do this. I see you fail beside me.
On
Yeah,
that note, I'm out.
I'm out. No more. Endriff. She runs the kind of the souvenir shop for Red Larch, if you will. She's got this fancy book she keeps telling people about, but I don't know if that's got anything to do with it.
Always happy to look at fancy books. That's fantastic.
Anything else I can do for you?
I certainly don't suppose you could keep an ear out. Just ear on the ground, if that's okay.
I mean, I can listen to people if it's easier.
That is also perfect.
Punch!
Shut up, Brandis.
More! Round! Everyone! Nah. More drinks, please,
No,
Brandis.
you've had a lot. You've had a lot.
So
We're
cute.
going away now.
Why? No.
I'm going to take my friends out before they mess anything up.
Yep.
If anybody... Don't tell anybody my name, obviously. But, if you ever need me, my name is Punch.
Punch, lovely.
And I pass him 5 gold as a tip.
Takes the 5 gold. Kind of
yeah.
gives you a wink with his other eye. As, don't worry, secret safe with me. Would you like me? I will ask. Obviously, your half-orc friend over there, and gestures to Zomith in the corner. When she wakes up, do you want me to remind her that your name is Punch, or?
Don't say anything. I'll sort that out. Don't worry.
Okay, lovely.
Thank you for offering me. That was really.
I mean, that's fine. She probably won't remember by the next night anyway.
I'm hoping so.
Rinwen, let's tidy this entire place up.
No.
He'll hate it.
Hearing this,
Just like-
I kind of give him a quick smile and then peg it over to the table and
Yeah.
sort
So
of grab
you
them
run
both
over.
by the
Dust
ear.
free.
By the
As you're
ear.
both grabbed by the ear from Punch coming over and grabbing you.
Bedtime, guys.
Don't like it, I'll set fire soon.
Come on, Vinny.
Shut up.
As Rusty's just kind of sat very quietly watching, kind of almost bemusement and awe. Shall we head over to the keep?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I wonder if they've still got my room. That'd be lovely. Leaves her, starts packing his stuff up and heads over. Still carrying the tankard half drank as well. You guys head over to Ogbeth's keep. Back over the way, you come through the reception area. Rusty kind of leading through. You come in, and now there is another tabaxi who seems to be where the other one was kind of blondish brown fur. This one seems to have a dark blackish grey coloured fur, and seems to be wearing a dress of some sort and no glasses. You two drunk think that for some reason Spencer's wearing a dress.
I like it, Spence.
As
You be you.
as you come in and you say this, and she realises that someone's coming in, the tabaxi looks up. Ah, yes, lovely. Rusty, yes, long time no see. Shall we go see if the room's still available? How many rooms are we wanting? Are you all in one? Is it that sort of?
Yes.
Ru-
No.
Yes.
No.
I
Sleeping in
put my arm on
one.
my room and yes we are.
As-
Go to grab Punch. Yes we
I
are.
keep him off of my
We're
hand.
all in one
Hand on
As
his
you
face.
two
cozy room.
As you two fight, Rusty kind of steps forward and goes, evening, Anna-Law. I will be telling you that there will be 3 rooms needed. We need 1 for myself, as usual, if I can have the same. Punch here will be sleeping by herself, and then I think the lovebirds are ready for a night. Would Vinny be all right with you guys?
Yes.
I don't think that's a good idea.
What? You wouldn't break up a family.
I think they're going to piss themselves. It's not about breaking up this family.
Stand so that I put my hand on Vinny's shoulder like a proud parent in a photo.
I just go straight just to get his face, just like say shoulder.
They're an odd couple, but they seem to like each other. Anyway, shall we head through, guys?
Yeah.
Get sleep.
Party train, up the stairs,
I don't suppose you have... I assume you're Mrs. Edwards.
I prefer to keep my original name.
Nice.
I am Errolaw King. I am the proprietor of Ogbeth's Keep.
I don't suppose you happen to have a pitcher of water and possibly a couple of basins.
We can have that brought up to you in the morning if you'd prefer.
I think it might be brought up sooner rather than later.
That's fine, we'll sort that. Anyway.
That's really appreciated. Just for these 2, I'm fine with the usual.
Fine, lovely. If you'd like to follow me, and she starts to head over to a door in the wall next to essentially the missions board, and leads you up a stairwell to the 2nd level of the Ogbeth's Keep, where you find several corridors spidering off from this main landing. She starts to walk down one of the left corridors and takes you down to a room that each room seems to have numbers and a name underneath them. So the first one you come to, number 1, is Pepper Ogbeth. Number 2, it comes to Jingar Yalra. The next one comes to Tulia Cryptguard, and the next one comes to someone called Telvok Frostbane. The next one, essentially, it seems to be famous adventurers of the age that you start to recognise as you read.
All I'm seeing is just the pattern on the wallpaper.
Comes down to the end of the corridor and goes, right, so these 3 rooms will be for you, Rusty, and points to the Beholder Suite. And he just steps in immediately and goes, good night, closes the door. Gestures to the other 2 doors. There is the Dragon Prince Suite and the... I forgot what I called this one, damn it. The Dragon Prince Suite and...
Jeffrey Rush rooms.
The Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Rush. And the Kraken Suite.
Can I peek into the Kraken Suite?
Yeah. You open it. There is a lovely kind of bluish green light coming from the ceiling. It seems to have almost like a spinning orb at the top, which looks similar to your drift globe you picked up. That seems to be giving almost like a lightscape. There are shadows that pass across the wall every now and then. It seems to be like a fish, a school of fish, then a squid and stuff like that. In the actual room itself, there is a bed, there's a table, there is a book on the table, but you can't see what it is from here.
Can I open the Prince's one and then just sort of chuck these 2 in?
You're pushing these 2 into the Dragon Prince room. So you 2 push drunkenly into this very dark red. It's almost standing in a red room, or a dark room for those of you who are photographers. You see that there is again just a double bed with 4-poster double bed. There is a desk. There is a book on the desk, and other than that, it just seems that there is a window across that looks out onto the track.
I drag Vinny onto the bed and we sprawl out and just fall asleep.
I close the door behind them.
Yep.
And I go back to my own room.
Lovely. So you go into the Kraken Suite.
Sprawly sleep flunk.
So as you see Rinwen just dive onto the bed and then just starfish and sleep, with Rinwen just curling into a ball next to her.
Do I?
Well, you just said you jumped onto the bed
Yeah,
and
but
spread
you
out.
said Rinwen curls into a
Vinny.
ball.
No, it's Vinny, sorry.
Vinny.
Yeah, that's why I was
Sorry.
like, oh.
Sorry,
I was
I'm having to do all these names off the top of my head and from my notes. What are you doing, not taking notes and stuff and then forgetting them in a minute?
There's notes here.
Yeah, and you're moving them so I can't read them?
Yeah.
What?
See, because my character's drunk right now, I'm like, he's not going to remember any of this. Note free. I was going to
RP note
I'll go to
taking.
the bed and go, yeah, I'm just going to flomp on. Don't care where, don't care how. And he's like,
Somehow managing to land just in between
in
Vinny
between
and
on, I
Rinwen.
really don't care. As long as
Arms
it's not on
over,
Vinny.
arms over both Vinny and Rinwen. Yes, you two fall asleep. What are you doing in your room? Is there anything for yourself, Pep?
I don't know, just kind of swan in, take my mask, put my
You've
mask
already-
down. Oh, I remembered. Can I have a look at the book?
Yeah. You open the book. It essentially reads of the story of the Corps of Tyr, a adventuring group of renown from Waterdeep that were triumphant in the Battle of the Abyssal War. It reads about how two of them survived the fight of Corps of Tyr versus Baphomet. Apparently one seemed to die in the Shadow Glade. Nobody seems to know where she is now, if she did actually die. This seems to be a writing by one. Let me just double check the writer's name that I wrote. It is... Yes, it is Conway Tweeter. So, you guys coming to rest in the Ogbeth Keep in your own separate rooms, apart from Rinwen and Brandis, who seem to have been put together as Rusty keeps referring to them as a couple. You guys fall asleep very quickly for some people, Rinwen. Some later than others, such as Punch, who seems to be sat up just flicking for a book before resting. And it is as you sleep, Rinwen, as you come into a corridor. There is a stone corridor which seems to have no exit behind you. It's just a stone wall. It leads 5 foot in width in a curving fashion forward.
Please tell me you're still drunk in your dream.
Do I recognise the place?
No, doesn't seem to be anywhere you've been before. You don't remember being in a corridor, a dead-end corridor, and starting in a dead-end corridor sort of thing. It just seems to
So
be...
the dead end's behind me.
Yeah, you're currently stood at the end of a
Can I
dead-end corridor, essentially,
just,
that curves off
pat the wall
in front of
then?
you. So you turn around and start patting the wall.
Yeah.
Just seems to be plain stone.
I go down the corridor then.
As you take your first step, you start to notice that you feel sluggish and you feel wobbly on your feet.
Still drunk. Damn it. Can I try and carry on walking?
Yeah, it's not stopping you, it's just a bit of a
Just
throw off.
notice, yeah.
It's like you're not used to walking like this. And you start to head down this corridor, following the curve as you come up to a very ornate kind of purplish, verging on black door that seems to be set into the wall with no frame. It has nothing. It looks like the wall has been just placed in front of the wall. The door has been placed in front of the wall. Sorry.
I guess I go through the door.
Yeah. You pull the door and you step into, or as you open the door and it pulls forward, you see a room that you find familiar, though it looks like it's slightly on an angle now. It's just off. Looks like the room is the left side of the room is lower than the right side of the room by about like an inch. And at the end of the room, you can see again the coloured kind of spectrum of books around the walls. And you can see at the other side of the room, sat at a desk writing away, Victor is sat writing and looks up as the door. Ah, hello.
Hello again.
Hello again, Rinwen. Got anything for me?
No, not really.
No?
I was enjoying having a little nap, I will be honest.
You're napping now, Rinwen. This is a dream, remember?
Oh yeah. Sorry, it seems quite real. No, I don't think I have. I don't really know what you want.
Oh, Rinwen, I had such toys for you. And he starts to pick up these 3 small pamphlets in front of him again. There is a black one, much like the one he showed you the first time. A blue kind of sky blue, very. It looks like it's kind of cut into the space that it's held. It doesn't look to have any edges, but it seems to kind of be like a void in the space that's currently there. And there's one that seems to shimmer, almost like looking at like light reflecting off petrol. Has this kind of like sheen to it.
What are those?
Those would have been for you if you had things for me. Remember our conversation? And he brings his hand over and they disappear.
I don't really know what you want.
I told you. Interesting information, interesting things. Just names, places, things. I just want interesting things.
It could be the wingspan of a bird or something.
I mean, I already know that. It depends what sort of bird you're talking about. I have many books around me. I want current events. I want things that I might not know. What do you think I might not know? Anything new in the world? Is there anything fascinating?
I don't really know, to be honest. Got an owlbear. It's exciting.
As you say this, there is a flash of light, and where he was sat, there's almost like a lightning bolt has crossed the room in front of you, and he's then stood right in front of you.
Oh, hello.
Like with it, you can feel his breath on your face. I don't want to know about bloody owlbears. I've got fucking books on owlbears. I want to know new things. Sorry. As he's this close, you start to notice that where his eyes were green before, his left eye is slightly. It's green still, but it has a slight red tinge. Now, let's. Sorry, he backs away. Let's start this again. Has there been anything new for you? What have you been up to over the past few days? Whilst I haven't seen you in a while.
We've been looking for some missing delegates.
Ah, now that is interesting. Talk to me about the delegates. He starts biting on his thumb. So, yes.
That's a really bad habit.
I don't care about bad habits. I want to know about the delegates. What's happening with the delegates, Rinwen?
I don't know. Just they've gone, and Brandis seems to be interested in this kind of thing. So we're following along, and yeah. I'll be honest, mate. There's not an awful lot to report.
I give you power. And I give you access to knowledge, and you will not share knowledge with... I don't think this is worth my time. I don't understand what you think I want from you. I've told you I just want interesting goings on. I want interesting information, current events. And you seem to think that I want to know about your day trip with your boyfriend?
No.
No. I find out about the delegates, and you can take a pick. And he essentially fans his hand again in front of him, and the 3 books appear again. As you can take a pick of these.
Do you not get out much? Is this why? I mean, I don't mind, just as long as you're upfront with me.
I've been quite upfront with you. I just want information.
Maybe you haven't told me why, really.
Because I'm bored. Because I want information. I like interesting things. I told you this, about 6 episodes ago.
These happen in
6
episodes?
days.
Oh, sorry.
You could call this an episode, yes. You're having a mental break. Now, I'm going to be... I tell you what, rather than the stick, I'll give the carrot, and he gestures to the books again and goes, pick one. You have a blue, a sheen, and the black one. I know you're quite powerful. I can sense the change. You can now do... You can do more spells. I can feel it. I can taste it in the air. It is acrid, and I need to know that you're on side.
Sorry, I'm just picking a book.
Pick a book.
Go for the blue one.
Go for the blue one. You now have access to first level divination spells and cantrips. As he looks at you and you kind of lean forward and take the blue book, he leans in a little closer and just whispers very quietly, "You will not get much more unless I get more. I'm trying to be a friend."
I appreciate it.
As you're holding the book, you can start to feel your hand is getting very warm.
Can I understand why?
You look down, the book seems to be sat there.
Can I swap hands?
Yeah, it starts to burn in the other hand. The book seems to be kind of reacting with you.
Is it like painful hot or?
It's not painful yet, but it's a bit like when you touch a hot pan and then you take away quickly.
Yeah.
It's that initial sting, but it's like that initial sting is ringing through your hand.
Why is this book so hot?
I don't know what you mean about
juggle it
hot.
between the two.
I don't know what. It's not hot. I don't know.
You hold it.
Takes it. As he takes it, you notice that the hand he takes it with his right hand kind of shimmers almost as he takes the book. He just looks at it. It's fine.
Can I tell anything about the shimmer?
Make an Arcana check.
That is 21.
21. You get the sense that that hand or something on his hand is... There is something to his hand that is arcane. It might be the hand itself is made of arcane energy, but there is a very real sense that something about that hand is off. It's not a normal human hand.
Okay, I take the book back.
Hands it to you.
And then start tossing it again.
It's not as burning this time, but you kind of get this very small ringing in the back of your head.
Don't like that. Thank you for this. Why me? Sure, there's a bunch of other really cool wizardy types.
I'm not going to inflate your ego, Faslana now. I only am choosing you because you have my book. Remember? I told you to look in your backpack. Did you find in your backpack anything that wasn't there before?
I did find a book.
You found a book full of what?
Necromantic spells.
And what did I give you the last time we had a conversation?
Give me a book with necromantic spells.
I hate to sound like someone who is being obtuse, but have you ever played the board game Cluedo?
No.
Picking up certain markers that lead to a conclusion might be something you want to work on between now and our next conversation.
Okay. No need to be rude.
No need to come empty-handed.
I didn't. I got an owlbear.
You have been for a week and a few days, and yet no information. Nothing in the world has happened. Are you telling me that no new events have occurred? No tyrannical leaders have been fallen? No earth-shattering
there was
things?
that necromancer who popped up.
Necromancer. Now, see, we can share these things. Talk to me. The necromancer. What was his name?
I can't remember.
Hey, as he's saying this, he starts
Let me
to
think.
he starts to gesture with his hand, and you see the quill rise at his desk.
I think he was Oriel?
Lovely, Oriel. How powerful would you say he was? Did you find his spellbook?
Yeah, I did.
Do you have his spellbook?
Yes.
You look down in your hand and you're holding Oriel's spellbook.
Okay, that's really cool.
It's a dream, remember? A dream. Nothing more, nothing less. May I look at that book?
Yeah, sure.
Do you hand him the book?
Yeah.
He takes the book and goes, I think you should go get some rest. Would you like to gestures to the door?
Can I have my book back, please?
What book? And you look down and he's not holding any books anymore.
Okay.
Would you like to...
Dreams are weird.
And gestures to the...
I kind of awkwardly just kind of shuffle out.
Yeah?
Bye then.
Just waves as you leave.
Waves like really
as you
awkwardly
walk
and
down the
nimbly.
corridor, you start to feel very heavy. As the door closes behind you, you feel very heavy. You feel like you're drooping into the floor, and the corridor goes dark. And you wake a couple of hours later with, for some reason, Brandis lying unconscious next to you, or looks unconscious. He's snoring for the most part, but he looks dead to the world. And Vinny just kind of very irritated, scratching his ear every now and then. You're in a darkened room that you don't remember entering.
This, Brandis, what are you doing in my room? I assume it's my room. Brandis! Brandis! Oh wait, and then I go and have a look in the book, see if I've got both books in the bag.
You find your spellbook. You find the book that seemed to... the green leather book, but you don't seem to have Oriof's book anymore.
Yes,
Brandis!
we reach over and just like pat Vinny on his head, like trying to turn him off like an alarm clock. It's like, no.
So I've got the blue book.
You've got the last time you took a book from there, it appeared in the green book. So you don't have a blue book there. You have your spell book. You have the green book that you had last time, which, as you flip through, you notice that the page starts to scroll itself, and you have first level divination and cantrip spells. If there are any,
I opened the,
I believe
the
there are.
page and just like thrust it in Brandis's face.
I did like fuss like Vinny, and then just kind of bolt upright and go. Okay, first of all, second of all, what? Also, you punch really hard in your sleep.
What are you doing? Where are we? And also, my book has changed.
1 minute. I have no idea. Second of all, I'm guessing both of us were drunk because I can't remember anything
I
and
can't remember anything.
I'm hurting. Third of all, let me focus on the book for a second. It's like a minute, like...
Staring at the book again, it looks like some language you've never read before. Swells. And this time it starts to look a bit more like Celestial, but you can't seem to read it. It seems like Celestial slang, for want of a better term.
There we go. Okay, it's still can't read it.
As you look at it, Rinwen, you can see the cantrip for True Strike is slowly finishing itself writing.
Still can't read it. But you do you. Can I hand it back and go? Okay, Vinny, how much of my ear have you eaten? I am very sore.
At this point, Vinny just farts.
Can I just check that Brandis is not naked?
Oh, I'm fully clothed. I just flopped into bed.
Looking, you see that you're both fully dressed, as if you've just fallen asleep. Other spells that you can add to your notes is Identify.
What spells is that? Level 1.
Level 1. You were told cantrips and level 1 spells of divination. Identify. You had True Strike as a cantrip, and you have Infallible Relay
As a spell.
as a first level spell. Yeah. I don't think that. No, there's Sense Emotion. And I believe that is all the divination spells of first level.
That's pretty fun, that.
But you read them, you can read them, but you can't cast them yet. You need to spend time copying it into your spellbook.
Okay, so what I can gather is ow.
Did you copy any of Oriof's book into yours?
I copied,
Remembering,
two of them.
remembering the cost of time and gold to do that.
Yeah.
So you did that over the night.
I didn't do all of them, so I didn't do like the second and third levels because I can't.
From what I saw, you guys left his place, had the book, and then you got drunk. I don't remember you sitting and writing the book. It took an hour per level of spell. You never at any point have said that you sat and wrote them down.
Oh, and the cheeky music turns up just to mock you.
I told you pick up just as you were leaving from Lance Rock. And you've read it, so you kind of, you know certain parts of it, but you haven't prepared the spell by writing it into your book, which costs an hour per level, so it would take an hour for you to write. At no point have you said you wrote down in your book. Because I told you we pick up as you were leaving his place.
Oh, you can't see her little broken face.
I tell you what, which ones did you say you wrote?
Prestidigitation and shocking grasp.
As they're both cantrips, I'll say that because cantrips are off the top of your head, you kind of learn cantrips by reading them.
Yay!
So you can have those. All the other spells that were written in there, you remember the names of, but you don't know how they work, and you don't know how you'd cast them.
I get a sudden urge to write the new ones that I've got.
Okay.
Down.
So, how many spells would that be?
3.
3. And how would that work with your wizardry, Kirsty? Looking at your character sheet.
Don't know.
So, does anyone actually
I'm
want to
confused.
put it down? Does anyone have a player's handbook, please?
Yeah.
Thank you, darling. Let us look at the wizard page, for I am playing a wizard.
In the meantime, here's some lift music.
So, your spell book. When you prepare a book, when you prepare a spell, copying a spell into your book costs 2 hours and 50 gold per level of spell. So, for a first level spell, it would be 2 hours and 50 gold each spell.
Cool.
So, are you telling me that how many spells did I give you as free?
I can afford to do one.
You can afford to do one. So they're in the book currently.
Yeah.
You've noticed all the spells that you've been given are currently there, but you can't cast them yet because they are currently. Sorry, thank you.
I'll leave it for now.
They're currently prepared in a book, but you need to copy it and learn how it's cast
Yep.
in the way that you did with your other spells.
Yep.
But you can't do any of the Oriof's ones. You can do the cantrips that
Yep.
you've been told. So True Strike was the one that you're given through divination, but the spells you can't do yet because you've not copied
Cool.
it. Would you like to do one of the spells?
No.
That's fine.
Okay, Rinwen, my head hurts. Vinny is still adorable, but scratchy. You look perturbed.
Did I tell you about the man in my dream?
No?
There's like this. So you know when I showed you the book the first time?
The book of many words I cannot read, yep.
Yes, which I still don't understand because it's very obvious. But
You already know that it's in wizard spells because I told you this.
Are you
last-
merely
know.
mocking me?
I know I'm
I hate
just
you.
mocking him.
Motherfucker. Don't make me go fucking continuity on your ass. 'Cause I will fail.
It's like a dramatic pause and the person goes, line, no, pause.
Pause.
Yes, that book.
Yeah, so there was this guy called Victor. I think it was Victor Vance or something, I don't know. But he keeps appearing in this like library circle room thing and asking me for information.
Okay,
And then
lovely.
for doing that he gave me a book. And then it happened again just now, and now there's new bits in there. And he seemed really interested when I told him about the delegates and the necromancer.
Okay, right. Good, let me just wake up briefly and be sober. What was his name?
Like Victor Vance?
Can I do an intelligence check just to see if I recognise the name?
Make an intelligence check, but you do recognise the name Vance from your readings of Arcana
Ooh.
through the ages.
Ooh, 7.
So, you recognise the name Vance as the one of the first few spellcasters who was a philosopher in the beginning of the Arcana of the Ages book. Explains that he had this whole theory about when a wizard prepares a spell from their spell book, they're actually lodging it in their head, and the moment they cast it, it takes up essentially a slot in their mind rather than a spell slot like your character sheet would.
Yeah.
Other than that, you don't seem to recognise the name Victor or Vance.
I just kind of go, well, this book says stuff.
Which you already know because I told you.
Yeah. So, apart from that, good. I'd be wary about what you tell him. Because even in your dream... I don't know. Look, it's just... I'm just gonna... Oh God, is there a bin?
Looking around, there is a bin by the desk.
1 minute.
I make sure that Vinny's asleep.
I empty myself.
You empty yourself.
Orally.
Orally.
Sorry, yeah. Alright, good. I feel infinitely still pain.
Just
As you've moved from the bed, your scales start to rub against each other, and they feel very kind of sore, as if like just after you've had a rash sort of thing. It feels very kind of tender. Each scale feels like its own little part of skin rubbing against the other, which just irritates.
Probably a booze thing. Look, if you're really worried, we can look somewhere, but is it a huge issue right now? Is he threatening you in your dreams?
I mean, it's not completely pleasant. Are you okay?
Slightly. These really hurt.
Maybe put some salvy stuff on.
I'm gonna... No. I've only got 1 day left.
Morning. I was asked to bring up a pail of water.
You're loud.
Sorry. Morning. I was told to bring up a pail of water for a morning wash. Are you decent?
Yes.
Lovely. The door opens and you see Errolor stood at the door. Again, you kind of recognise this image from last night. Blackish grey, kind of looking tabaxi, blue floral dress goes down to the floor.
I called you Spence, didn't I?
Yes, my PA, if you will. She kind of titters as she walks in and places the pail on the desk. There are cloths in the bucket. You can wash yourselves. You'll find towels, and points over at the other cupboard in the room, which has towels that are just kind of in the top shelf. And you are left to wash. You are also visited as it's getting to quite late in the 7 a.m. By Errolor, yourself, Punch.
Awesome. Can I just get up, got mask in hand, so I have washed, and I'm at the door and I'm like, morning guys!
So you two, as you're washing, hear a very happy Punch. You also hear, as you're in the corridor, just very kind of dragged out. Oh, for God's sake, do you have to be happy in the morning?
Can I slam the door open?
Ah, I'm sorry.
Rinwen, can we tell Vinny to kill? Can we please train Vinny to kill? Like anyone who is awake at this time of the day.
I just look at Vinny.
Looks up at you, just kind of bleary-eyed.
Did you get Vinny drunk?
I don't think so. I smell his breath.
Smells like the vomit that he ate the night before, so it smells a bit kind of acidic.
Oh, is that half?
It smells a bit boozy as well because it was the vomit of someone who'd been drinking there. They're waiting
I
alcohol.
don't think it's his vomit that I can smell. Okay. But we should probably wash your mouth out.
Prestidigitation. To make, rather than clean up, it's going to make his mouth smell nice.
Like, open wide.
He starts doing that kind of weird kid being told to stick his tongue out in the doctor's.
I'd pinch your nose, but you don't.
I kind of
Beaks are so weird.
I clean out any bits of sick that I can see in his mouth.
Right.
With prestidigitation.
I'm gonna get up properly and then clean myself down.
Yep.
Right.
The world's best cantrip.
It really is. It's amazing. It means you don't get icky. I'm like, I am looking. Okay.
How are you guys feeling?
Surprisingly, not that. Oh, hang on, I need to throw up again.
I'm fine.
Fantastic. You know what? I think I'll talk to you this morning. I don't think Brandis is going to be of much
I
use.
don't think so.
Do you how much of last night do you remember?
Bits and or bobs.
Okay. Well, good news is I had a chat with the barman. I have some leaves for us.
Leaves.
Leaves.
Oh, leads.
Leaves.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I was
with
like,
leaves.
why would we have leaves? Cool. Brandis, you need more salve. Where do we get that from?
Apothecary. Chemists. Look, I'll be fine. Don't worry. I've got.
No, we need to get you some. You're getting itchy and you'll get irritable, and let's just sort that out. So shall we see if there's a chemist?
So you're going to go look outside
Yes.
to see if you can find a chemist.
Come on, Vinny.
So you guys leaving, Rusty seems to be still in his room as you guys head off downstairs. You come in and Spence is currently reading a book in the reception. Seems very kind of chilled out and relaxed. You guys are currently stood in the reception. Are you finding something to ask about places, or are you just going to go into the world and try find it?
Well, I know where I want to be and go.
Yeah.
Rinwen, do you want to take some money if you're going to the chemist's?
You remember the night before, just before you left Ogbeth Keep, you split up the gold between the four of you?
Yes.
Well, I've got a plan I think of. Do you want me to chase the leads I've got?
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
You to get what we need?
Yes.
Fine.
What do we need?
If there's any health potions, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, that probably would be a good idea.
So, can I pass over? So, I didn't write down. It was 75 each, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yep. Oh god.
I said you already split up the night before. Don't worry,
Yeah.
you've each got 75 gold from splitting up when you received the payment.
That's fine. I pass over all my gold, which is one I have.
Quick maths. Quick math.
Oh, it's happening in the episodes. Warning, bad maths again.
Are you using your calculator on your phone to add up two numbers?
Super good.
They're
bad
big
maths.
numbers.
Anyway, continuing.
Yeah. I pass over 658 gold.
I kind of go like.
To each of them, or are you splitting that between the two?
I'm handing over to Rinwen because she's
So
the one that looks.
Okay, so you
Capable?
receive 600, so he hands you a quite large kind of
Huge.
pouch of gold.
Are you sure?
Just bring back receipts.
How many do you want?
2 or 3, something like that.
Okay. So
This crime pays, apparently, better than civil servant.
or a librarian. What was I doing?
Reading.
Yeah, that's really good. Right, should we go?
Yes.
So,
Should we take Vinny, or should we leave him with Rusty? People might not
Does
be.
he still look?
as
like,
you're having this conversation,
sleepy nappy?
Rusty comes down the stairs in essentially his chain shirt, pair of leather trousers and his boots, has his maul on his back and goes, well, if you guys are going to go off and do things and you don't want Vinny coming with you, I'm going to go take him into the training garden and see if we can work on those claws. Because he needs to be able to look after himself if you guys are the glass cannons of your group.
That sounds like a good idea.
Don't hurt him.
Oh, he's probably going to hurt me more than I hurt him.
Good boy.
And he just kind of looks down, come on, and starts walking back out. Vinny just kind of almost squares his shoulders and starts marching out the door up to Rusty.
Take her up so fast.
Come on, let's go.
Thank you for listening to the Alignment Unknown podcast. The players were Adam Unwin as Brandis Thorn, Kirsty Mealing as Rinwen Thaslananel, and Kyra Leigh as Punch. DM'd by Steve Archer. All music was performed by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 licensing. For more information on this, go to creativecommons.org/licenses/by/3.0. All of these links can be found in the description of the episode. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.